reading out the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vane, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Hey, good morning. How are you? Yeah. Got to get you going in the Wednesday morning hour. It's called Boom Boom Chuck is what that's called. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my. Oh, no. Oh, no. That was out of nowhere.
Hey, good morning.
Oh, my.
Oh, hang on.
Oh,
Whoops,
no.
I forgot to have to stop it again. We didn't want to hear the oh no guy twice, did we? Maybe we did. It is Wednesday here on the program. We're loaded, man. We got Kion Brown coming up. The NBA started last night. If a tree falls in the woods and no one's around, does anyone hear it fall? College hoops getting closer and closer. We'll talk to him about all sorts of things. Damien Sordelett, the Hokies football beat writer for the Roanoke Times. David Teel and Matt Roan, the director of athletics at James Madison. Hope everybody's doing okay. Yeah. Good morning, Prometheus. Good morning, Big Al. Yeah, we did. We talked about that. Yeah, that last game to close out the Brewers for Shohei Ohtani, the greatest individual performance maybe in the history of any baseball game. We've not seen anything like him. 6 shutout innings? He strike out 12, something like that, and hit 3 home runs? It's not even – it's otherworldly. And that's why the Dodgers are easily going to win the World Series is because of him. Yeah. So we got a lot going on today. A couple things I want to address here coming up. Good morning, Morris. From Joel Hicks, 7 district titles in a row. Yeah, we were pretty good. To Ragsdale's 3 state titles over his career. Palm Coast hasn't seen nothing like that. BDST's on the air. Morning, Morris. Yeah, it's two legends right there. If everything works out, next week is the Marty Coach Rags revival. Got to get that organized. Good morning, Frankie. Good morning, Paul. And good morning, Opal. Special hello to all the peepettes out there. Glad to have you as a regular part of chat. Frankie says Phillies, Dolphins, and now the Hurricanes. It has been a rough few weeks. I'm hopeful Beck will get it corrected and the Canes will finish strong. That's always that likelihood. We'll see. Paul says, Big Al crazy. Talking about Ohtani. If he would have started in Major League Baseball, most likely would have been the best player. He is the best player. He's talking about all time, though. Yeah, you could probably make that argument. That's a great point, Paul. If he'd have started, like say, and got his debut as a 20, 21-year-old and played 15 to 18 years, it's incredible. And I know he's been embattled in all that controversy with his money, but he's a very humble guy. You don't get that a whole lot. Great. Just beyond great. It's just, well, thank you all. But it means a lot. Best show on YouTube. Wow. I hope that's huge praise. Thank you. Rags and Marty must see podcast TV. Yes, it is. When Rags gets on a roll, it's machine gun fire. It is. It's straight fire. It's straight fire. Hit us up on our BDST professional door text line, which never calms down. Good morning, Rodney. All right, so speaking of the text line, so I got a couple of texts. First of all, people are pretty amped up about our live session coming up on Saturday evening. They want to come up with a name. I'm going to let you decide on a name, and then we'll just vote on chat and on the text line. Only 36% of you still want Shane Beamer to be the head coach at Virginia Tech. That has fallen down considerably as we update you on the attorney Ryan Pry BDST fan question of the week. But I had two different texts, and look, I don't mind criticism. I don't mind, questions and things like that. But I just want to explain, like, for instance, yesterday, we had Mike Burnap on, okay? Mike and Bill Roth work, at least from the football perspective, are employed by Playfly, the marketing partner, through Virginia Tech. I had people saying, man, I can't believe you didn't ask Mike about what all Bruce Arians knew. Why didn't you ask him about, James Franklin and what he knows about the search? Because you can't do that. I would never put Mike in that situation or anyone in that situation. You have to understand the climate. Folks are coming on this show. I'm very blessed and grateful that anyone, comes on. You have to read the room. You can't put somebody in a situation like that here. And then this is now hey, Tootie, good morning. A national forum, if you will. I would never do that to anybody. And it's not something that Mike is prepared to talk about in public, what Mike knows. Does he know things that we didn't talk about? Absolutely he does. Was I going to do that and put him in a bad situation? No, I won't do that. I'll never do that. He can't come forward and talk about things. It's not the way it works. It gets him in trouble. So no, you're wrong. Those of you the two of you that sent text, you're wrong about all that. That's not how it works. So I just wanted to clarify that. You've got to respect your guests. You've got to know what is off limits and things that you can't dig. Would we have loved to have talked about? Would I have loved to have gotten into it with what he knows from Bruce? They talk every day? Sure. But that's not how it works. So I'll ask questions that I know I can ask. And I think you could read between the lines with some of the things Mike said and understand that things are progressing much in the matter of my latest prediction on Facebook. But I just wanted to explain that to you. I appreciate people texting and reaching out. I really do. But you got to understand that you don't do that to somebody, especially somebody you respect, like I respect Mike. If that makes any sense whatsoever. All right. There are NDAs signed by other people, so obviously everybody's just kind of chill over there. He's been on the air 43 years. He's best friend with Bruce Arians. Naturally, he knows things, but if he ever wanted to talk about it and went into it on his own, that's perfectly fine. But I can't ask him a question. I mean, the worst thing you can do as an interviewer is have someone look at you and go, I have no comment. Rick, I can't talk about that. You know that. So I try to avoid that. So there you go. There's the explanation about how that works. Please like and subscribe to the channel. We're at 612 climbing the ladder. Remember, all of you who are subscribed, if you get one person you know to subscribe, we'll hit 1,000. And I'll be in my comfort buffer for a while on YouTube. 3 years, you're good. Opal says, I don't know a lot about sports. I don't know, Opal. I think you do. That's why you don't comment much. Show's just so interesting and helps me learn. Well, that means a lot. It really does. Seriously. Thank you. Thank you, Opal. Morris says, had you done that to Roth, he probably would have never agreed to be on your show again. Decorum is still in. Correct. I think it's called professionalism. It's called doing this long enough to understand how things work. Yes. Yeah, I know, Tech fan, you're eager and you want to know. We all want to know. Just know things are going like I think they perceive they would go. The other openings don't matter. It hasn't knocked them off their path. I can tell you that. I made a prediction Monday on the Facebook page that I think James Franklin will be the new head football coach, and I am not swayed by that on Wednesday. Read between the lines. But we'll see. A lot of things can change. If the Auburn job comes open, I think everything changes all over the country. UCLA is going to pony up a lot of money. They want a big-time, big-name head coach. They have to have one because their program is an abject disaster. And by the way, they've won 3 in a row. They're playing Indiana. There's such a great press conference going around from Kurt Signetti. I guess he had it on Monday, maybe yesterday, breaking down UCLA. And he knows every little thing about it. They're going to get killed Saturday. Indiana's going to destroy UCLA. You know why I know? Because if you just watch the video, I wish I could play it here. But he is just breaking down. You look at him as a 3-0 football team, talks about all the changes they've made, blah, blah, blah. He's looking at UCLA like he's playing Ohio State, and he's dead serious. He's got his glasses down. He's looking at all the stats. And when a coach like that is taking a team like UCLA, I mean, here they are number 2 in the country, and you're taking, all those numbers, and you're taking all their personnel that seriously, that team's in trouble. It reminds me of 2018 when Radford won our first ever NCAA tournament game in Dayton. And we're playing Villanova in Pittsburgh. Paul Hightower, you remember. Good morning, if you're here. And I'm sitting down with Jay Wright, who was outstanding. And that was the year that I had the Carleet call where I went nuts. And so he sits down and he knows I've heard too much of you. Your calls everywhere, all over March Madness. And it was, which is great. Hey, Paul, you remember Pittsburgh because you live there. Of course you do. So we sat down with Jay Wright and, we had a great conversation. Very respectful guy. This is why he's so good on TV as a commentator. I think he's going to be a coach again. And we're sitting down and we're about, 2 minutes into the interview. I wanted that to be a little longer. It was an NCAA tournament game. We expanded our pregame by 15 minutes. So I wanted to talk to him a good 5 minutes, and we did. He was great. Actually, it went like 7 minutes. He didn't rush. But he started breaking down every Radford starter that we had. He knew everything about Carleek Jones. He knew everything about Travis Fitt. He knew how many minutes they played. And he was talking about individual plays when we beat LIU Brooklyn in the first 4. Remember that? And I walked out of there, and Mike Ashley and Neil Leahy were waiting outside the locker room. And they went, well, how'd it go? I said, he was great, but we're going to get destroyed. And they, what do you mean? Well, obviously they're the number 1 seed, but I said he knew everything about our personnel. He knew our first 2 guys coming off the bench. And this is Jay Wright, and this is Radford playing Villanova. And I was just like, yeah, they're ready for us. They're taking us seriously. And I knew we were in trouble, and we were. But we had a 3-0 lead. We had a 3. That was on the scoreboard for about 20 seconds. And that's kind of what the impression I got was Cignetti breaking down UCLA in such serious detail. They're in a lot of trouble. It's been a great run for their interim coach to pull out of what they did. No team's responded to a coach firing like UCLA has. But that will end with a profound thump on Saturday in Bloomington. Correct, Paul, and that's what I was saying. Yeah, if Bill and Mike want to offer something, hey, we're here for it. But I'm not going to dig it out. I'm not going to do it. It's not how it works. And it's not really what I'm about. I wouldn't do that. Thanks to Family Fencing, sponsor of our studio here in Reiner, 540-200-8294. Check them out at familyfencingnrv.com. We're going to have wintertime workload information coming up from Family Fencing and all the folks there from Jason Green and company. They won't stop because it's cold and snowy. Mark Hunley, McClellan Chiropractic, thanks for jumping in the chat room. Awesome stuff. And Professional Door Incorporated in Dublin, residential commercial garage doors, family owned and operated, 38 years in business, right across from New River Community College, sponsor of our text line. And I really do appreciate all the messages that I get throughout the day. I try to respond to as many as I can. I get busy in my full-time job down in Radford, but especially with hoop season coming, but I do try to respond as much as I can. So I appreciate that a whole lot. Don't think you're bothering me because you're not. I mean, seriously, I like reading them. That's what I kind of do. I try to do it at lunch, lunchtime. Joseph, did Radford a couple years ago think about starting a football program? No. There's been rumors a lot over the years. But no, that's never the only time that I ever thought it could possibly happen. And I've been there. This is the year 26 for me. When Penny Kyle was the president, she was really onto that. And there was a huge, massive donor that said, hey, what would it take to start a football program? And there were a lot of, even designed a helmet. I saw a helmet design, like a logo and everything. But even then, the cost of it was like, I don't know, $44 million. I don't believe it's going to happen anytime soon anyway. But no, it has not been talked about with the current president, President Danilovich. And I don't believe it's going to happen probably in my tenure down at Radford. Seriously, no. It's just not feasible unless you have someone who just wants to say, here's the $250 million you need to get this thing going. Let's go. So, yeah, if they want to break the news, Garrett, that would be awesome. That'd be awesome. Yes, Carlik Jones is a Highlander. He's not a Louisville Cardinal, Anthony. That's our guy. Yeah, Carlik graduated, finished, and he went, he had the extra year, and he wanted to go try himself in a bigger league. And, yeah, he went to the ACC and flourished. And then he's had a couple cups of coffee in the NBA. Now he's playing overseas. The very same Carlik Jones, yes, from Cincinnati, Ohio, who hit the shot as a redshirt freshman. He got a screen at the top of the circle. He didn't get there on time, but he still was able to catch, shoot, and launch. Boom. If I can somehow upload all that on here, I will try to do that and let you see and hear my screaming call. Paul says, ask Teel to tell you about Mike Tomlin, the next Tech head coach. Yeah, I can do that. They had their podcast yesterday, I think, on Tech Sideline. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we could do that. But, yeah, football not going to happen at Radford anytime soon. Now, do I think it could find its niche? I keep hearing people say, hey, we got Virginia Tech, and, that's how you're going to, if Radford were to start a program, it would never be in competition with Virginia Tech. I think people kind of always immediately get that wrong. That wouldn't be their aspiration. Look at the other schools in the Big South that play football. And there aren't many anymore, but Presbyterian dropped their program. So what do we have? We have Gardner-Webb, Charleston Southern, and I believe that's it. Is that it? Now that Presby dropped theirs, am I forgetting anybody in our league that has football? I don't think so. The Big South is more like Coach Lynn's league, the MAAC, the other MAC, the basketball league only. Big South, I think, would flourish if it became just a basketball league only. We've lost membership because teams built their football programs and thought they were going to go on to bigger and better things. Campbell left our league all because of football. Now they're desperately regretting that decision because they underestimated how much all the travel was going to cost. And they left. Now, it worked out for other schools. Coastal Carolina and Liberty, of course, have taken their football programs to different levels. We have not played Robert Morris in a while, but yes, we have a couple times in my tenure. It's been a number of years. Yeah. But yeah, we've played Robert Morris. We have. So, yeah, football's not going to happen at Radford. There's just no money to do it. I don't think there's enough interest to do it with people that make those decisions. It would be a boon to, enrollment, but I think that's starting to go up the way they want to in increments year by year. But fiscally, it makes no sense from mid-majors like Radford in the Big South, just trying to figure out how to navigate through the NIL is already difficult enough. Now it's different with basketball this year, but that won't be the normal trend going forward. Morris, yeah, I remember Jerry Falwell saying when he started Liberty football, he wanted to play Notre Dame one day, and all the pundits laughed. Yeah, stuff happens. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no. If Radford started a football program, it wouldn't be in the Southern Conference. They would be, I think the Big South, right now they have a combo league with the OVC. The Big South / OVC, if you look at that league, and I think you just have out two teams. And that's another reason there's no motivation to do that. Now, if you had 5 or 6 Big South teams that were playing football, then that would be different. Maybe. But, yeah, Radford versus, Roanoke College. That's the kind of level you would be at. I mean, and you can be a member in different league, different levels and stuff if you qualify. So Radford would probably be an ODAC school in football. Yeah. I mean, it would take a while, but you got to think about all the scholarship money. You couldn't run it non-scholarship, and that's just not something that Radford has in its fiscal planning. Just not going to happen. So it just doesn't make any fiscal sense for Radford. And to be honest, I'm not sure what the fan interest would be. And this is a guy who bleeds tartan. I don't think there's a large clamoring for Radford football around, first of all, the town, the city. Radford High School football is the thing. High school football in our area is the thing. And I just don't hear, I've never heard a large clamor. I get a lot of questions about it. We get questions about it, but I don't know how the support would be. Students would probably come out and make it a thing. But with Virginia Tech right there, 20 minutes away in the ACC, dominating all the football interest, even of crossover fans, I just don't know if there's that niche there. And I might be wrong, but just don't see that being part of the Radford future. Kion Brown will join us coming up here in just a little bit. Yeah, they could do the Pioneer League non-scholarship, like Dayton, San Diego, Davidson. Yeah, they could do that. Yeah, fortune in travel, and that's what gets you. That's what you think about a football team. It's 80 guys, 85 guys that you're traveling. And I mean, it is absolutely the cost of all that. Like, for instance, just look at this. Like, tonight, William Lawson, RU football still undefeated since 1979. Yeah, that's Mike Ashley's line too, William. We got the linebacker fund banks. Paul, do you have one of those banks that Mike has? You have one, don't you? He gave me one in many years. I have it somewhere. I got to find it. I thought I had it out, but I do not. Speaking of travel, tonight it's unique for Radford soccer. I'll be on the call on ESPN Plus, but tonight Radford's playing the California Berkeley Bears are coming to Cup Stadium. And people are all day yesterday, why are we playing California? Well, because they're in town to play Virginia Tech this weekend in a conference game, right? So they've headed east a few times already. And I'm going to talk to their SID tonight. And I want to get a sense of what it costs a program like California Soccer to make that trip to the East Coast as many times as they have. So they wanted another game, and Radford didn't want to go another whole week between games. So the way the conference schedule worked out, they added Cal to the schedule. So we're playing California tonight. So if you want to see an ACC soccer match against Radford, come on down to Cup. Come up and say hi. Bundle up. It's going to be chilly in the open air press box at Cup Stadium. So, and then Cal plays Tech. But I want to get an idea. Can you imagine what it costs them? I mean, soccer teams are 30 to 35, maybe 40. Then you got your coaches, you got your managers, you're traveling 40, 45 people on a plane, commercial planes. They've already been to Asheville. They've already been up to the Northeast. This is like their third or fourth trip. Can you imagine what that does to your budget? So, yeah, tonight it's Cal and Radford, the Berkeley Bears. The ACC, Berkeley Bears. Oh, good luck, Frankie. He says, wish me luck. I'm taking 5 teenagers to the Tech game on Friday. Speaking of California Golden Bears, boy, they love the New River Valley this week. Should be a blast. Yeah, you'll have fun. Cal and Virginia Tech on a Friday night. Yeah, Wayne, you're right. It's a great opportunity for the Radford kids. Yeah, it is. Now they've played, they've played ranked teams this year, but that's kind of cool for them. It is. But I'm going to just try to get some insight, and then I'll share, how much is invested in this travel. Something we've talked about with Stanford and Cal, and vice versa when Tech, UVA takes their non-revenue teams across the country. Whew. Hotels, food. Wow. The bus. You don't realize how expensive the buses are. Man, it adds up. We deal with it all the time down in Radford. Yeah, but that's happening tonight. Prometheus, good morning. Shane's, I didn't watch it. Shane's presser yesterday was bizarre. His relationship with the media is bizarre. Yes. Yes. Anytime you try to fall back into the nostalgia of having a Beamer come back to Blacksburg to be the head coach, just watch one of his press conferences. just watch. Just watch. Not good. Not good. All right. Something that's always good is Kion Brown, and there he is. What's up, KB? Good morning, my friend.
Rick Watson, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
How are you? I'm doing great. How are you?
As far as football, I've had better days, man. My Commanders stink. I'm close to the trash bag, dude. I'm
What's
close
up
because
with that? You're close to the trash bag.
like, are you kidding me? Come on now.
I don't know.
Lose the
man.
game versus Chicago a week ago. It was clearly your fault. It was clearly Jaden Daniels put it on himself. He fumbled the football in the worst possible moment, and the tackle in his off field. They might as well have you and I out there. They might
yeah. We can be okay.
What's the worst? We can give up a 75-yard bomb to CeeDee Lamb.
Absolutely. I can leave anybody uncovered. Yeah, anybody can be uncovered if Rick's out there.
My goodness. Gosh. And another thing, I know there's somebody from Radford watching. I need some new gear. Look at this thing. Look at this quarter zip up Rick Watson has on.
Well, yeah, but this is old gear. I haven't gotten any new gear.
Oh, no, they tripping. They slacking. I still got stuff from 2014 that I wear to the gym every single day. I need something new. I know somebody's watching.
We'll try. I'll do my best. I'll let you know. I'll do my best. Yeah, I don't know. I had your Commanders going to the Super Bowl. So what do I know?
Yeah, that's out of the window now because the schedule gets no easier. Kansas City on Monday. I'm not sure if Jaden Daniels playing.
Ooh, really?
Then we got Seattle on Sunday Night Football. That's the game I'll be going to.
Oh.
Sam Darnold's playing really good football, and then we got Detroit right after that.
Oh, are you kidding me? It's Kansas City, Seattle, Detroit.
That's the next 3 games for us.
It's Kansas City and Kansas City.
It's in Kansas City. It's in Arrowhead. Monday Night Football. You think I'm excited about that?
No.
And they're starting to click.
They are. They're starting to get more calls. Hey, the officials are back on board. They don't ever get flagged for anything. Yeah, that's tough, man. That's tough.
My goodness.
Yeah, I was just telling the story of Pittsburgh and Radford and Villanova and how when I went to Jay Wright and had the interview with him for pregame, he knew everything about our team.
Oh, yeah.
You name it, he knew. He knew Carleek. He knew how many minutes Carleek and Travis played together. And I'm like, geez, Louise, no wonder this guy's a Hall of Fame. No wonder they're going to win the national title, right?
Yeah. And at that point, that would have been his second in 3 years too, right?
Yeah. And of course, they did go on. Every time Radford's in the tournament, whoever beats them has won the national title.
Okay. North Carolina in 2009.
And Duke.
Right.
And Duke in 98. Yeah, everybody who plays Radford in the first round goes on to win the national title. So we're good luck.
And Radford that year in 2019 was the only team to play Villanova and cover the spread.
That's right. We did.
That's a fact.
We did cover the spread.
Yeah. And that was a squad. My goodness, they had a team. Oh, my God. Jalen Brunson, Michael Bridges, Dante DiVincenzo. Oh, man. Yeah,
they were good, but they played Radford with a lot of respect. Like we led for a while, a little while, and it was close. And then he called timeout, and then they came out and went on a 22-1 run.
Yeah. Oh, I remember, dude. I was so excited to watch that game.
Okay, let's just have some fun now.
Man, they were dominating college basketball that whole year.
They did.
Yeah.
It's just a great convergence of sports, right? We got everything happening. Basketball's here. It started last night. Great game in Oklahoma City that the champs were able to fend off Kevin Durant and the Rockets. And then they had this thing all fired up, right? The Lakers and LeBron, who's going to be out for a while.
Yep.
And they fell to Golden State. The NBA's here. I didn't hear a lot about it, to be honest with you, starting up. It was just kind of, other than ESPN, just kind of came in like a lamb, didn't it?
Yep. And it's because of the streaming. It's here now.
It's weird.
It's weird. It is, because if you don't have the packaging, the advertisement for and the advertising for it just isn't the same. I was watching it yesterday on Prime Video, a little bit different. You had Jamal Crawford and Reggie Miller doing the color. I think Mike Tirico was doing the play-by-play. So it was some new voices in there, but it was a different feeling. It really was. But I'm not going to say the second game was that good, but the first game was awesome. Double overtime, OKC pulls it off. Shouldn't have went to double overtime because at the end of the first overtime, Kevin Durant pulled a Chris Webber, called a timeout when they didn't have one, but the refs didn't, award it to them or the penalty to them. So they win the second overtime and pulled it away. Now you got OKC making a run to a second championship. In the second game, the Lakers were all Luka, 43 points, but it wasn't enough. The Warriors came in and did what they had to do with them. Without LeBron James, they're just not in contention. That's crazy to say because LeBron James is the oldest player in the history of the NBA. He's played, this is year 23 for him, but if you count the playoffs, it's almost like he's played 28 seasons, which is insane to me. That's how long that guy's been in it. But he'll be out, like you mentioned, for another month or so. He'll be back mid-November with that nerve in his butt, whatever.
This is going to be it for him.
I don't think so. I got one more year. I really believe next year in Cleveland he's going to call it. It's just something telling me that.
He could. But we'll see. His body's starting to break down, though. If he's going to miss, I think he's going to have several injuries this year. It just feels like that might snowball a little bit. So, but it makes sense. Sense.
Father, the old cliche, Father Time's undefeated. And he's the first player to be in year 23. Yeah. Come on, dude.
Especially when you're playing that in that league. You can't.
You just mentioned it. You have been the voice of the Highlanders for 26 years. This guy's in year 23. That is insane to think about. You guys pretty much started at the same time. Like, that is insane to think. It blows my mind. I believe this year there are 85 players in the NBA that weren't born when he played his first game in the NBA. It's crazy to me. Like, it is crazy to me, some of the stats around his age.
And that's not the only similar trajectory, KB. He and I, of course, have made the same money over the years.
Come on.
Oh, wait. No, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. College hoops is here.
Yep.
It is here. We're right there, man. It's the third. One thing we haven't covered, they are going to expand the tournament after this year. 68 to 76 teams. That's just the first step. You and I don't want it touched. I think most people don't want it touched, but it's not going to end at 76, is it? It's gonna keep on going. Keep on.
Yeah, it's going to expand.
Streaming. Yeah, let's talk. It's gonna spoil the best event we have in this country, in my opinion, from a sporting perspective. But maybe more games, maybe people slide into that a little more. Do you think that's going to be something we really fight against, and then 2 or 3 years down the line we go, okay?
I mean, if it's executed properly, sure. And there's many ways that they could have went about it where it could have been executed properly. Like, for example, if you're one of the 32 conference teams that win your tournament, you should be automatically in the field. You shouldn't be in a play-in in Ohio. None of that. You should just be in, and then some of those higher conference guys that was on the bubble should be going against each other because their alumni have the funds to go see the game. Their alumni is going to watch. People are going to watch on TV those high-quality teams, high-major teams, and then let those guys battle out. But if you're a Radford, if you are a Wofford, if you are a UNC Wilmington, if you are a team in the American East, you should not have to play a play-in game if you won your tournament. Right. That should be the bare minimum. Now you can make that type of change. Now people will agree with it, but it's going to keep expanding. Right now, it'll expand, like you said, next year, in a few years, it'll go from 70 plus to 80 plus, and then so on. Too many coaches are talking about the expansion now because we're trying to save their job, one, and two, they're trying to avoid some of these mid-major teams because when they lose, it's a blemish on their resume and one of the most embarrassing moments for them. So that's why the high major coaches are pushing for it. They don't want to get embarrassed.
No, you're right. And you and I have talked about, does it water down the season? Does it expand the playoffs? Does that mean now that the season doesn't mean as much? And people have always made that argument. The NFL expanded their wild card, and everybody said the same thing. But that has – I know it's the NFL, and it's always going to dominate ratings, but that has – fans have jumped all over that, and it hasn't really bothered. The regular season's still important. It'll make winning a certain amount of games a little less crucial potentially, but it's, the money is going to win, and they know what's out there. They're already looking at potential deals, and you just mentioned streaming. That's where those games are going to be. I mean, they're going to do whatever they can to maximize the dollars.
Right, and it always comes down to money. You talk about the NFL; they're going to add another regular season game next year because the numbers just aren't right. You add the playoff seed, but you take away the 2 seeds bye. So that's more football. And that's just the way of the world right now. So college basketball, that tournament is going to expand next year. It's inevitable. And then it'll continue to expand after that. But the key is finding a way to make it expand so that the core of the tournament and the essence of the tournament doesn't change.
Right. Yeah. And what that, in my opinion, as I don't like it yet, I wish it stayed, but mid places like Radford, it won't necessarily knock us out of more money games, if you will, going forward, because more games to play, less pressure on these other schools. Like football, you're going to see those start to dissipate with the way the playoff is expanding. You're going to see the power teams start to play less and less of the James Madison games. They're not going to do that much anymore. So, but for basketball, I think those will stay more regular going forward.
Right, but they're also in basketball starting to trickle down. You hear all the time, nobody wants to schedule a High Point. Nobody wants to schedule Norfolk State. Nobody wants to schedule Chattanooga. At the height of Radford under Mike Jones, when you were beating Texas and you were beating Oregon State and you were beating Virginia Tech, nobody wanted to schedule the Highlanders. When you were beating Penn State, we beat all those teams. We were beating Georgetown. Nobody just wanted to schedule the Highlanders because they knew that there was a chance that you wouldn't make it out alive. And then at the same time, you got to pay those guys, right? So you're paying us to come down and beat you.
That's right.
That's what it was. And that happened a lot during my time there. So it's happening less and less frequent in college basketball, but like you said, it's coming to college football as well. And you see it now. You see home and home in the same season with different league teams. And that's just where we are in college athletics right now. When you're scared, it's what happens.
Yeah, but you're right, man. There's nothing worse than for those power schools to lose a game like that. And then on the way out, here's your money.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming down here.
Exactly.
And kicking our tail.
And then, when you play in those high major teams and we're on the road, and like I called it at UVA, the hospitality room was amazing. All you can eat food. Come on. We'll beat you. I'll eat your good food, and then I'll go home. You can't beat it.
I'm going to take a doggy bag with me, too. Yeah, you're right, Paul. I just pulled a hamstring. Yeah, doing the show. Wayne asking KB, anything new in the LeBron room? Yeah, you haven't. What are we doing? Are you done?
I'm not done, but I haven't updated anything fairly recently. I'm starting to make a few changes, but I do have something here. This is from 2008.
Oh, here we go.
This is just an old clock.
Oh,
like
okay,
this stuff
I see.
almost reaching 2 decades, dude. Like I have so much stuff in here. I just need to reorganize. That's the next phase of the room. Because I said, when we first got back onto the show, this has turned to my daughter's playroom.
Yeah, you told me.
Like it looks great in the background, but she's not respectful. Everything just gets thrown. There's no respect involved in this. I won't get my room back probably for another 3 years.
But you can't tell her no. I get it.
Can't. Of course not.
What is one? Okay, give us a holy grail item that's still kind of you're looking at like you haven't gotten. I know you've got some stuff. Is it an old shoe? Is it an old jersey? Is it something very rare that you're still kind of like thinking, boy, if I could get that?
Yeah, still a shoe and a jersey. That's what I need. Now, if you look over, maybe I can show you real quick. These are some.
We're going to see around the LeBron room, folks. This is
cool. If you can
cool.
see in there, I'm not sure if you can see. Those khakis are the pants that he actually wore in Space Jam. That's his producer's chair that he had on his chair in Space Jam.
Oh, sweet.
And that's his first ever production chair back from Stars. You can see the certificate of authenticity.
Oh, that's awesome,
Stars.
Man.
They actually sent that to me while I was at Radford. That is
cool.
That is a true story.
Did you have to bid on that?
I did not. They sent it to me while I was a college player at Radford for free.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Man. That's cool.
So that's
a shoe. Yeah, a shoe. I get like a game worn shoe.
I need it. I need it. Come on. I know somebody out there that knows somebody that can hook your boy up. And the thing about LeBron and the Jordans and the top guys, the Currys, those legends, they don't sign much because they understand that so many people just want to flip it and make money. That is not me. I will hold on to that thing for dear life. I promise you.
Well,
when I'm gone away from here, somebody better put that thing in there with me when I'm getting buried. That's how sacred it will be to me.
But when they do it is when you make it personal. Like, go ahead and just say something to me. Because I've had a couple people do that with Smart and stuff like that. Chris Claremont and an X-Men thing. It's like, make it to me. I'm not going to turn that. I just put, and he put on there to Rick, and he put on.
Yeah.
That way, that's going to kill any resale value. If it has somebody, there you go. Unless you're selling to somebody else named Rick.
Yeah. There's no way. Like, it would be so hard to move on from this stuff. It's just an attachment to me. Because I've been collecting since you've been the voice of the Highlanders. Literally, it's been that long.
Wow. That's cool.
And I have, if you open the closet, there's 3 big boxes of stuff I haven't even touched yet since we've moved here that I need to.
That you just need to get out.
Yeah.
Or you know what? You can just let your daughter do it while you're at school. She'll have it all.
No, there's no way. There's no way. All of that stuff will be open. I come back and lose my mind. Lose my mind.
How is your class going? Everything good?
Everything's good. This is a kind of easy year. They messed my schedule up a bit, but kind of in a good way. I used to have to teach a class twice a day, every day, but now I just teach 4 classes one day, every other day. So now that other day, which is today, I'm just managing the online course. Pretty simple. Hopefully nobody's watching. They're going to be like, oh, that's all you're doing? They're going to be like, oh, we got something for you.
Those days are going to come in handy with all the holiday college basketball.
Oh, no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it.
A lot of early games.
When I saw that schedule earlier this year, I said nothing. I said, all right, cool. I'm with it.
Yeah. You're like, okay, if I have to, I'll do it. All right, brother. Listen, have a great rest of the week, man. And we will reconvene next week, and we'll see how the Commanders do against the Chiefs.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, and then we'll be a week away from college basketball, so that's great. But I said, somebody at Radford, I need some new gear. Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, we all do.
Size extra large.
Let you know.
My goodness, these quarter zip-ups you've been having have been phenomenal, dude. You had the one last year. I think it had the Virginia. That's the great one. But it's another one you had last year with the big South on the shoulder. You were on the show sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I know.
Come on, man. I'm still wearing stuff from 2012 when I was a freshman. Come on, Radford. I know you got it. Size extra large. I need it.
Paul says, I wonder who has the flip phone that LeBron used in his rookie. Oh, my goodness. Can you imagine something like
somebody
that?
Somebody has it, The one he had when he went to the WWE and he saw Stone Cold. Yeah, that's the one.
Kion needs to throw chalk in the air when starting class.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Okay. Yeah, you should do that.
And Coach Jones said the next time you do that, everybody's running.
All right, brother. Great stuff, man.
Enjoy
your online day.
All right, buddy.
All right, man. Take care of yourself. Good to see you, as always. Kion Brown joining us. Man, how cool is that? That's cool to get inside. We'll have to plan ahead of time with him. Wouldn't it be cool to see the whole? We'll have to do like a tour of the LeBron room and have him describe the items. That was cool. Now that stuff was cool. The stuff that he had inside, the chair and the clothes. Now that's awesome. That's good stuff. Very good stuff. We want to thank National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of BDST. I've been with them for 35 years. They're the best. Larry Ramsey and Company. Little River Heating and Air. 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. We are presented every day by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment, thanks to Jonathan Sweet and Tim Miller. There is nothing that they are not open to try, not only to make Pulaski County bigger and better than ever before, but to also unify all the surrounding areas, which is what's happening because of their work. It's happening. NRV Super Bowl has been serving the community for 25 years, 540-382-5525. Boogie bowling on Halloween. It's my birthday. Let's go boogie bowling. I have a game that night. I have to work on my birthday. Oh, well. Only $40 per lane. 8 bowlers. Shoes not included in that, but that's a heck of a discount. Go see James Lawson, Lawson's Mobile Home Supply since 1997, 300 North Franklin Street. Give him a call, 543-18011. And Harvey's GM in Radford. Go see Harvey's GM. Brad Harvey. I bought my last 3 vehicles from Brad, directly from Brad. Told him what I wanted. I didn't have to wait a day, maybe the next morning. Okay, here you go. Here's your options. Okay, let's go do it. Great people, man. Great people. Thank you, Frankie. Love the Todd Grantham interview. He's coming on next Monday. He wasn't done. Todd's coming on next Monday. Morris says he's got 3 Virginia Tech Cal tickets left and may have to pay someone to take them. And they're awesome seats. All right, well, hit Morris up if you want to go to the game on Friday. I don't know if it's going to be a sellout or not. Mike says they think they might announce a sellout even if it's not. But now Frankie's got me curious to go see Shane's presser yesterday. He got Alabama coming up. He could get his season back on track, couldn't he? If they beat Bama. That's probably what will happen. They laid such a bad egg against Oklahoma, and they'll go down and some reason they'll show up and beat Alabama. You know, Damien Sordelett joins us coming up here in just a little bit from the Roanoke Time. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that plays out down there with him. There's still a lot that's going to happen, man. There's a whole lot that's going to happen. And a lot more jobs are going to come open. I read a lot of stuff the last couple of days since Florida State and Wisconsin made the announcement that they're not going to make an in-season move. Those guys are gone. I mean, unless Mike Norvell turns it around. Wisconsin, Luke Fickell. You know what surprises me more about those 2 jobs that haven't worked out? Luke Fickell to Wisconsin not working out. And Coach Omasian talked about it a little bit. That has really surprised me. I know the Big Ten isn't the easiest place in the world, you know, with Ohio State and Michigan and usually Penn State. But I thought Fickell to Wisconsin was a great hire. Didn't you? I really did. He was a rising star, Cincinnati. But they haven't recruited well. They haven't played well. That one's a mystery to me. I never thought Mike Norvell was going to take Florida State to new heights. They had the undefeated year, so he had proved me wrong. But 2-10 last year, the free fall this year, that seems like more what I expected from Norvell. Joseph says, I feel when the first college names their new head coach is going to be a huge domino effect. I believe you are 100% correct because I think the agents are the ones controlling all this. Jimmy Sexton in particular, by the way, he is James Franklin's agent. Usually what Jimmy wants, Jimmy gets. If he wants Blacksburg, he's going to get Blacksburg. So yeah, I concur 100%. Good morning, Jason. Yes, happy Hump Day. And if you watch the beginning of the show, I try to put that little theme up now before you get going. There you go. Keep calm. It's Hump Day. Don't forget, Saturday is going to be our live. We're just going to go on here. I don't know what it's going to look like. About 6 o'clock. We're going to shoot for 6 o'clock. That'll get me home a couple hours after my soccer match broadcast. And we're just going to hang out, talk football, talk fine cured meats. So a lot of folks are hitting me up about that. So, yeah, what we'll do is you can get 6 people on the screen here in the studio. And I don't want anybody to post your email here in chat unless you just want to, but send it to me on the text line, the Professional Door text line, 391-0788. And I'll have it, and then I'll send you an invite like I do our guests on a daily basis, and we'll all be on the screen. People have taken the Jimmy conversation to the Seinfeld episode. Remember when Jimmy punched Kramer? Wow. So that'll be Saturday. Tech plays on Friday, so you don't have to worry about getting all upset about the game one way or the other. And so, yeah, we'll have some fun on Saturday evening. And we'll see if any of our regulars want to jump on. Anybody's welcome. We'll just have a good time. I don't have a time frame on it. We'll just let it go as long as people are interested. If people become uninterested, then we'll stop. But that's the plan on Saturday. We're going to come down here and go live for you, the best listening and viewing audience on YouTube. David Teel and Matt Roan join us coming up a little bit later on. Joining us now on the program, there he is. He is the Virginia Tech football beat writer for the Roanoke Times. His name is Damien Sordelett. Damien, how are you, brother? Good morning.
Morning, Rick. Feeling refreshed after an open week.
I'm going to ask you, yeah? Did you enjoy that? What was it like? Just take us through it when you go, okay, let's just, what'd you watch football? Did you just chill with the fam? What'd you do?
I think I watched 15 games on Saturday.
There you go.
Even though I'm off, I'm an AP top 25 voter, so I have to keep up with everything. And it was interesting, especially, I think it was the 3:30 or the 6 o'clock window where we had a bunch of upsets where like UAB beating Memphis, knocked the Tigers out. It was the later window with Southern Cal losing to Notre Dame, and it was like, all right, got to knock USC out after just getting them back into the ballot. And so, it was a lot of that and a lot of, I guess, evaluating what potential coaches could be coming down the pipeline for Virginia Tech and seeing how they do. UNLV was another team that got boat raced in the second half by Boise.
They did.
Hope this is not one of those Dan Mullen has one foot out the door already versus, being ready to go. So I've already seen that in person before. So
yeah, you've been there, done that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about that. It's interesting, because I know you vote on it. So when you watch Miami, they were number 2 and they lose like they do. How much? Well, first of all, I don't know if you can talk about it, but how far did you consider dropping them, and were you surprised to see where they ended up when a team like that is having a great year, then they lose a game, especially at home like that?
I saw them at 10. The head-to-head was really tricky because Virginia beat Louisville beat Miami beat Notre Dame. And the way Notre Dame's playing, I can't have Notre Dame slotted that low because I had Virginia at 14 or 15, Louisville right behind them. But then I started assessing. I'm like, would Notre Dame beat Miami if they played this upcoming week? And I said, yes.
Yeah.
CJ Carr is significantly better than he was in week 1. And if Carson Beck's turning into 2024 version of himself and not 2023 like he was through the first several weeks of the season, Miami doesn't stand a chance. So I slotted Notre Dame at 9 because Sagarin rating, they're like one of the top teams, and their other loss is by 1 point to Texas A&M, which I have at number 3. So I kept Miami top 10 just because I think Ruben Bain is still a top 3 Heisman candidate for me. And they have the pieces. If the quarterback can get out of the way and not throw 5 interceptions, put an asterisk on one because one was overturned, which really shouldn't have been. That was the softest roughing the passer call I've ever seen. So that's where I put Miami at 10. It came in at 9. I think a lot of people are still looking at the win over Notre Dame, beating Florida State, and they should have won by more if they hadn't taken their foot off the Seminoles' throat. So I just think body of work right now for Miami, they're still good, but you have to avoid some more trip ups because they don't have any more non-league games.
No.
So they trip up, they're going to knock themselves out of the ACC title game before you know it.
Have you heard any more rumblings? Did you get any gathering information about the coaching search? I thought of you because I got information Monday right after the show. And I said, well, this is what Damien said might happen. I had information. I've gotten information. It hadn't changed that James Franklin is very interested in this job and vice versa. And there's been a lot of conversations. So I posted that on my Facebook page. That's my prediction. Not saying it's going to happen, but I just put it up as my prediction that it'll be James Franklin as the new head coach. And you mentioned that last week. You floated that out there. And I was like, yeah, there we go. There we go.
And his agent is Jimmy Sexton. And Jimmy Sexton is not going to allow him to take this job early because
correct. Yes.
Jimmy Sexton wants a bidding war.
It's going to drag.
Because one of Jimmy Sexton's clients is Hugh Freeze. If Hugh Freeze might be out the door at Auburn, Jimmy Sexton's like, all right, I want a bidding war because not only is James Franklin going to get paid, I'm going to get paid from for my representation.
And that's the job he wants, by the way. Like, that's the job that would change it all. Franklin, I was told, he really covets the Auburn job.
Yeah, and I've been down there a few times for games. It's a really nice community.
I've been one time. It's awesome. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And they've really upgraded facilities down there, more so than Virginia Tech. So that I think would change the calculus quite a bit. Message boards get things right every once in a while.
They do.
There are 3 teams that are on open weeks this week: UNLV, Duke, and James Madison. If Dan Mullen, Manny Diaz, or Bob Chesney are on the list of being considered, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility you start getting some interviews done, whether it's Zoom or you bring them in person.
Sure.
So that would be interesting to see if anything like that plays out. I'm sure Franklin is, if he's got a chance, he's probably visiting Blacksburg, whether it was after the college game day, I don't know, Rehabilitation Act, I guess you could call it. Jimmy Sexton was there because he was there with Kiffin on the sideline. And Kirby Smart's also one of Sexton's clients. So it wouldn't be surprising if Jimmy Sexton's pulling some strings behind the curtain. And I don't know if Bob Chesney's one of his clients or not. So Chesney could throw a wrench into all this for him. But yeah, it should be interesting. I know Clemson's on an open week, and I know people on the message boards are like, "Oh, there's a flight coming from Clemson to Blacksburg," and I'm thinking there's some people like outside of Tom Allen, there's some people on that staff who Garrett Riley, the offensive coordinator, is a Mike Leach disciple and has done really well at Clemson as OC, was at TCU as the OC when they went to the national title game. He's been the OC at a lot of places and done well. And if you want to take a chance on a first-time head coach, which is probably some trigger word right now for the guys in the chat, and they'd probably rather go for an established head coach, and I don't blame them one bit.
Yeah.
So I would, so just there's some open weeks for teams this week, and Virginia Tech could probably get a jump on interviews if the committee has gotten to the point of, okay, we need to start interviewing candidates and start vetting before we make – before you present the 4 to the hiring authorities.
Well, it was interesting. And to follow in with what you're talking about, like yesterday, there were 3 different reports from, major X accounts saying that Florida reached out to Marcus Freeman already. And he immediately said no. Like, they went out, they just called and said, you're in the middle of your season. You guys are trying to put things back together, but we're going to go after you. And he said, no, I'm not interested. So that's interesting to me that Florida already playing their card a little bit. So will it now be back into the Lane Kiffin thing? There's a lot of speculation. It's going to be crazy, isn't it? Every week somebody's going to lose a job and we're going to be talking about this. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I think Chris Vanini from The Athletic posted something like teams that have gone to interim coaches during the year are like undefeated in the first game afterwards.
The UCLA thing is weird. It's just crazy.
UCLA's thing is weird, and they even brought up Virginia Tech, one is a 10-point road dog at NC State in Montgomery's second game.
Yeah. Now, it's going to change for UCLA Saturday against Indiana. But still, it's been a nice recovery for them to respond like they have.
Yeah, and then you got to figure Wisconsin.
That
Florida
one has
State,
surprised me.
Florida State at the end of the season.
Yep, that's going to happen.
So Norvell's buyout's $58 million, and I can't remember if it was CBS Sports or someone with ESPN said like the amount of money you would have to spend on buying out Norvell and his staff and then hiring a new staff would be around $100 million.
I saw that.
Which is stupid.
Woo. Man.
That is ridiculous. I mean, Florida State goes and sues the ACC saying we're poor, we need more money, we need out.
And then lying. Yeah.
And then it's like, oh yeah, we're going to throw $100 million here to get rid of one coaching staff and get another, and we're going to spend all this money to renovate Doak Campbell Stadium. And give me a break. It's the reason why Florida State has been abysmal since suing the ACC in league play. I mean, abysmal. And I don't think there's a dry eye in the house anywhere.
No. I keep seeing, and you probably do too. I know you do. Matt Roan to Penn State. Everybody's saying that's a done. I'm like, you fire James Franklin. All right, obviously something we had to be going on more than just losing a couple of games. And you replace him with Matt Roan because he's really good friends with the AD. He has a history there as Penn State. And then they go out. Nebraska goes out and gets thumped too over the weekend. I just feel like that's going to be a tough sell if that happens. You get rid of – here comes Matt Roan. Oh, okay. I don't know. We'll see how all this plays out. But people are talking like he's still the Vegas heavy favorite to get the Penn State job.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. I could see them going – I could see them like – I could see Penn State looking at Marcus Freeman, and that would probably give Marcus Freeman like – he probably wouldn't say no immediately.
I think he'd talk to them. Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. So again, and Sexton was Franklin's agent. So Sexton's probably working behind the scenes to try to get a few candidates involved in that. Again, this is so weird, and everything's going to happen at the end of the season because once you get all the openings, then that's when the dominoes start to fall. So, for Virginia Tech fans, I know it's been 5 weeks since. Or 6 weeks since, or 5 weeks since Pry was fired. You're going to have to wait and see what happens, especially if some of these bigger jobs come open in Virginia Tech instead of being near the top of the pecking order like it was before Penn State. Now you keep falling down a rung when it comes to what jobs are available. Just be patient and hope the search committee is doing their job and vetting candidates whenever there's an open week or wherever they get a chance, because you want to be able to put your best foot forward when you're bringing in the committee. And I'll say this, David Teel brought this up on the Tech Sideline podcast yesterday when he talked to Mike Tomlin about when he was the Vikings defensive coordinator and he was interviewing for the Steelers head coach position. Tomlin brought a manifesto for how he was going to run the Steelers organization. And he brought up, if you're coming to interview for the Virginia Tech job, you bring something of how you're going to turn around Virginia Tech football, not just turn around a program. So I'm hoping like the committee is getting a gauge on how these coaches would turn around Virginia Tech specifically, and not just turn around a program. I think that would be the best bet for the Hokies, to get someone who understands Virginia Tech, understands what you're doing in terms of recruiting against ACC teams, playing those teams. I'm sure if Chesney has any questions, he can go to Matt Roan, guest of yours later tonight and later this morning, and ask, "Hey, got any tips on how to do anything well in Blacksburg?" And again, I brought this up, I think, yesterday in the media room with Andy Bitter. It's like, package deal with Chesney and Roan wouldn't be a bad idea if depending on what they want to do, athletic director. And it seems like if the head coach is going to hire the GM, it doesn't seem like the GM is going to be probably still the hierarchy, in which I kind of wish Virginia Tech would explain this. Is the AD still on top, and then you have the GM here, the CEO of athletics here, and then kind of go down the rung, or anyone on the same level? So we kind of need that answer. And I think Matt Roan, we've talked about this at length. Matt Roan's done an excellent job wherever he's gone. And
he's a star. He's a star.
Yeah, if you bring him in and he knows how he's running things, I mean, yeah, that'd be great. So
that's what I want to happen. That's what I came on Monday and said, that's what I want to happen. I think that should happen, but I don't think they're going to do that. I feel like they're pressured to get a name after they blew it by bringing a guy in who had no experience as a head coach. It just feels like.
Chesney's got 13 years as a head coach, 12 straight winning seasons, and David Teel's probably going to bring up a stat with you from James Madison because he was at the game this past weekend for JMU ODU for homecoming. And he rattled off this stat on the Tech Sideline podcast yesterday, and it is the second half adjustments that James Madison has made over the last 5 weeks since losing to Louisville has been remarkable. Like the second half numbers would make people say, "Oh, adjustments. What are those?"
I know. He changed on the fly after the 2 quarterbacks, and I know he talked about protecting a guy a little bit for injury, but that guy, I watched that dude, Damien, and I'm like, I was watching the game against OD. I'm watching him, and I'm like, that should be your next head coach, guys. Tech, what are you doing? What are you doing? You went down this road 4.5 years ago with Signetti. What are you doing? Just take advantage of it.
And here's the deal with Chesney. It wasn't like he was inheriting a really good JMU team.
That's right.
Everyone
lost
left.
All those guys. Yes, they left. But they went to Signetti. Yeah.
The staff left too. And you know what Chesney's done? He's hired good coaches. Like he went out and got a co-DC from Alabama to the DC this year. I don't care if the guy's not coaching under Saban. Like,
I know.
He knows what he's doing. Like,
he knows what he's doing.
Like Chesney will bring, like everyone's talk, like I've heard all the talking points about this, that Chesney won't, like, will Chesney know how to hire a staff? Will he be able to? I'm like, look what he's doing now.
He's already done it. Right.
Look what he's done at every stop. He's had to hire staff and bring them in and get the team bought in. And he's done it everywhere, every level. D3, D2, FCS, FBS. Like, he's done it.
I know. I feel like the answer's right there, but they're not going to do that. I just feel like that's not going to happen. Somebody else will and make a great hire.
But if Chesney comes in and he brings in the blueprint for how he's going to turn around Virginia Tech's program, that might get you over the top. And I mean, Chesney's right down the road in Harrisonburg. So even if you want to go up to Harrisonburg because you haven't been to a Buc-ee's yet, go up there, hit up Buc-ee's, and go see them.
Yeah, spend a little time at Buc-ee's for an hour or two, and then just go see Coach Chesney. Maybe he'll go with you. Maybe you just have a great time together.
Yeah, I mean, heck, the Virginia Tech women's basketball team's playing at James Madison this year. I think it's before. I think it's in December. I would say pack the search committee in the bus with the players if this is before Thanksgiving. Have them go up there, hang out at Buc-ee's, go talk to Chesney, and then bring him back with you to Blacksburg.
Yeah, I know. I think that would be, and to your point, and Matt comes on the show, and I've known him, but you can't deny his body work. He's already in one Hall of Fame at Nichols. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame at EKAU. They knew he was going to leave, but and he's going to go to a Power 4 somewhere. People, don't you want that to be Blacksburg? I guess maybe they don't over there, but we'll see.
Brandon Wall hitting us up with Tech women's basketball at James Madison on November 23rd.
All right, good stuff, Brandon. Thank you.
There you go.
Just what you were talking about. Why not? That'd be a great time right on Thanksgiving. Give Tech fans something to be thankful for and make that duel.
Yeah. And if Tech wins, they're going to I talked to Andy and I ran into a member of the Tech women's basketball staff yesterday while we were waiting for post-practice. And he mentioned, if we win, we're hitting up Buc-ee's because we get ice cream after road wins. I'm like, if you go to Buc-ee's, you might get lost looking at the amount of ice cream they have there.
That's not the place to go for quick ice cream. Yeah, you're right. You won't get everybody back on the bus. You're going to leave 3 or 4 people behind.
No, yeah, they'll be in the clothing section getting lost between stuff.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Exactly. All right, before we let you go, Cal Bears coming into Blacksburg. First time they've ever played there, obviously. Only one other meeting. That was in the bowl game when this guy named Aaron Rodgers was getting a lot of reputation. What do you think? I watched them against Carolina some. They got a good quarterback. They do some things on offense. How do you think Tech's going to handle things? And will this be their last best chance to win a game?
Yeah, I mean, the line's gone up. Opened at what 3.5,
Yeah.
3.5, and it's gone up to 4.5, 5.
Yeah.
It might be because Virginia Tech's getting some guys back, and if you look at the last time Cal came across the country, they beat Boston College 28-24, and
They did.
this is gonna sound like a broken record, but they got a stop inside the 5-yard line.
They did, yeah.
To win. And that was one that they should have easily won, but they let BC hang around, and we see BC is not a good team. We see UNC is not a good team. And Cal's needing to come up with stops inside the 5 to win.
That's right.
I'll go with home field advantage, like Wayne just said. I think Tech had at the open week. Cal had to play on a Friday night and then has to fly across the country. I think Tech's got a chance to. If Tech can get out to a lead and run the ball, I don't know how much I have to harp on this. Run the dang ball.
I know.
But there's something like David Hale posted this on Twitter. Virginia Tech has taken Virginia Tech. What was the number? It was 64.9% of Virginia Tech's offensive snaps have come when they've been trailing this year.
Wow.
And I looked it up.
Wow.
I also looked this up against FBS opponents. So 360 minutes of game time. Virginia Tech has trailed for 237.5 minutes, which is about 66%.
Yeah, right.
So you have to throw the ball in order to
right.
get back into that. So Tech, and that's why Kyron Jones has faced the most pressure of any quarterback at any level of college. FBS, FCS, D2, D3.
Well.
So yeah, you got to take advantage of this. Tech needs to run the ball. Cal's averaging 94 rushing yards a game. They don't run the ball well. They throw it a lot. And Jacob DeJesus is, I called him a gadget guy, but Sam Steve was like, no, he's a do-everything guy. Slot receiver, 5'7", 170. They'll line him up in the backfield. They'll move him to the slot.
Yeah, he does a lot.
Jet motion. They do a lot with him. So you're going to have to take care of him. The quarterback, it's too early in the morning for me to try to pronounce his name.
I know. They were having trouble on the broadcast the other night, too.
Oh, yeah.
He's good, though. He's good. He's pretty good.
He's very good. He's a lefty.
Yeah.
So that's different. You're facing a lefty quarterback versus the traditional right-hander. He's very good. Cephas said they got to get pressure on him because if you give him time in the pocket, no matter if you're playing man or zone, he's going to find the crease. He's going to find the opening and make you pay. And he's completing a very high percentage of passes. When he does get pressure on him, he is prone to throw interceptions, as most quarterbacks are. But especially as a freshman, he's going to he's going to just chuck it and hope something good happens when he's under pressure. So hopefully the Tech defensive line can get home. Win some one-on-one battles and get to them. They don't rush the quarterback a lot for Cal. I mean, their leading sack guy is TJ Bush, the Liberty transfer. He's got 3 sacks, I think 5.5 TFLs. I mean, their top TFL guy is their linebacker, Chris Olave, who Montgomery says probably one of the best will linebackers he's seen. And Montgomery had to face Olave 2 years ago as Auburn's OC when Auburn went out to Cal and won a taffy pull 14-10, 230 yards of offense for the Tigers, and they still won. And that was year one of the Hugh Freeze experience. So should be interesting. So it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully Tech playing under the lights can return back to form. I know the last 2 night games at Lane have not gone to script. That 4-quarter stretch against Vanderbilt and ODU still probably is a sore subject to touch on. So we'll see what happens. I think Tech rested. The offensive line should be healthy, which I'm expecting the season opening combination to be thrown out there with Remax shifting over to right tackle, Cunningham at right guard, and then you have Garrett, Ganem, and Altuner. So that could be good. And then because you got guys who have played, you can actually start rotating and not having guys play every snap. So that could be a good thing. Terrion Stewart's probably going to be healthy. Marcellus Hawkins. So if you have a full complement of linemen and running backs, I don't see why you don't run the ball initially and just set the tone there and give Kyron Drones some time in the pocket on play action and RPOs to make some good reads. So hopefully that unfolds for Virginia Tech, because you need a game like this, because
They do.
Cal and Florida State look like the winnable games on the schedule.
I know.
Because
Florida State's wide open now. Yeah.
Because I looked at the schedule for the last 5 games on the schedule are against teams with at least 5 wins. The combined record of those 5 remaining teams is 24-9. And I looked this up. The FBS opponents this year for Virginia Tech are a combined record of 52-22. Like, I don't think we went into the season thinking like
that's crazy. 30 games. Wow.
30 games over 500. That's because
Yeah.
UVA is exceeding any and all expectations.
Yeah.
And the disappointing teams, and there are South Carolina and Florida State. Both are 3 and 4. Those are the only FBS teams on the schedule that with a losing record for Virginia Tech, which I don't think any of us at the beginning of the season thought the schedule would be this hard.
No. It's just the way it's played out. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, the best news for you is you get the game on Friday, then you got college football again on Saturday. You can just kind of do your work and be done. So that's great.
Yeah, and then the Louisville game the following week's at 3:00, which is one of the worst times, because I'm not a fan of midday games, because you miss the end of the noon window, and then you're writing the story at the night window, and it's like, okay, well, what's going on?
What did I miss? What's going to update me? Yeah. All right, brother. We'll have fun Friday night. I know you will. Bundle up. It's going to be a little chilly, and we will see how it all plays out next week.
Ask Teel about this weekend's road trip, because he's got Tech Cal Friday night, and he's going down to Chapel Hill, and that's a noon kickoff on Saturday. So check with him. Check with him to make sure he gets plenty of sleep in between the games.
I will. I'll check on that. All right, brother. You take care and have a great rest of the week, and we'll talk to you next week. Absolutely.
Glad the chat didn't blow up on me after last week.
No, it was great. No, that was great. That was fun. That was awesome. That was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, man. Have fun Friday night. All right. Take
appreciate
care.
It.
All right. David Sordelett. Good stuff from David. Yeah, that was great what he offered in chat last week. David Teel's next, coming up in about 16 minutes here ish. Trying to get caught up on chat here. I want to remind everybody, hit us up on our professional door incorporated text line. By the way, garage doors, residential and commercial, family owned and operated 38 years. Travis Williams is a terrific guy. Go see him right across from New River Community College. Larry Ramsey, National Bank, member FDIC. Let's see here. Let's get all of there's the professional door logo. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? What a great logo. Travis, did you do that? That's awesome. You got the National Bank logo, right? You got the Family Fencing logo. That's a great logo too. That's cool. That looks like it should be some team's mascot, like a team, a football team. And then you got the County of Pulaski. Experience, Pulaski County, the presenting sponsor of BDST. Great stuff. The attorney Ryan Pry down in Radford, by the way, 701 West Main Street. Let me get an update here, because I get texts throughout the course of the show. He specializes in trust and estate plan. Ooh, big hell no on Shane Beamer. So I'd say the momentum that people may have thought out and started out with Shane is kind of subsiding. That would be my take. Eddie says, I took your advice. I went back and watched a whole montage of Shane Beamer post-game interviews. And yeah, we don't want that guy here. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Very, very interesting. But I get it. And you are correct. You do not. McClellan Chiropractic, thanks to Mark Hunley, they're sponsor of our chat room, which blows up every day. It'll be blowed up. It'll be blowed up real good. You ever watched SCTV? You know what I'm talking about. And I mentioned family fencing. They're going to put up fences in the winter. It doesn't matter. They're going to be scared of snow and rain. Call them up, 540-200-8294. Snow and ice. Rick looks like RoboCop with the family fencing logo. Do I? Let me see. Kind of did, didn't I? Kind of did. Hey, the first RoboCop's a really good movie. That's rewatchable. Rewatchable. Danny on the chat line. Where in the hell is Selma this week? Oh my God. Okay, Danny, I'm getting yelled at here. Okay, you want to start out with Innocent in the Villa, Selma, waving as you walk by. Hello. See my hand? Hello. Or Selma walking down the locker room hallway trying to inspire your football team. Yeah. Or do you want to see her in maybe her most memorable role in film, From Dusk Till Dawn? Or are you just going to get jealous now and watch when she and I hung out down at Radford with my gigantic hand? That's a beautiful couple, isn't it? Right there. There you go, Danny. No, I'm the one with, it's like extreme man hands. Jeff G says this UVA fan would love to see Shane come to Blacksburg. Oof, that'd be a nightmare. It was. Hey, Webb, you're glad I'm not the only one to remember the great days of SCTV. SCTV, pound for pound, much better than Saturday Night Live, by the way. Even back in the day. Much better. I will die on that hill. It was Canadian, so we didn't appreciate it. John Candy, Eugene Levy, Rick Moranis. Great. Just great writing. Great shows. Don't forget Boogie Bowling at the NRV Super Bowl. 382-5525. Halloween. They've been around for 25 years. I'm going to try to get Ronnie Horton on here next week, the pro over there. And go see Lawson's Mobile Home Supply since 1997, located at 300 North Franklin Street. James Lawson, 540-381-8011. Go see all those people. David Teel joins us coming up here. Guess I should send him the invite. So this is what will happen on Saturday, by the way. I'll just send you invites. And you just hit accept. All right. You just hit accept and audio and video, and you'll be right in the green room. And then I'll just throw you on. Okay? So that's what's going to happen during our 6 o'clock beginning. And we'll see how it goes. If we don't have a lot of people in there, I won't do it very long. If we end up, having a lot of interaction and people are having a great time, we're just going to let the thing run for a while. I got nothing to do Saturday night. And it'll be my last Saturday off until March. It will literally be my last Saturday off until March. Matthew says all of Damien's reasons to look at Chesney should make him the top realistic candidate. Sometimes you outsmart yourself. Sometimes you outthink things. They've already done that once with the JMU coach. He's now the best coach in college football, Kirk Cignetti. Go get a name, go get an ego, go pay a lot more money, and good luck. Hopefully it works this time. But you see, this all was created by the past hire by Witt with Brent Pry. The pressure to make sure that you have a major name has been brought about by the guy you're leaving employed. I don't understand. Yeah, Martin Short, Catherine O'Hara. Such unbelievable talent. John Candy is Mr. Science, incredible comedy. It's good stuff, man. The Rick Moranis, you can go find the clips, and he did a DJ named Jerry Todd. He also he was a singer, and he did certain pop songs like in the lounge before Bill Murray started doing his shtick, which he stole directly from SCTV. What was his name? He does a great Michael McDonald impersonation too. He's a Tom Monroe. Tom Monroe. And he sings some police songs. He sings, remember the song by the Vapors? Was it the Vapors? I think I'm turning Japanese. Remember that song? He does that too. Wouldn't that be great to go back and have that kind of talent once again? Wouldn't that be great? Be awesome. Yeah, Bob and Doug McKenzie made a movie out of the Great White North. Yeah. Made a movie. But John Flaherty was part of that too. Man. Great stuff, man. Great stuff. People are sending me all sorts of memes now on the professional door text line of SCTV. You know what? I'm tickled to death. People know and understand and appreciate it. That's awesome. That's great. Thank you. I knew you were the best audience. That's really cool. I'm getting all sorts of yeah, Bobby Bittman. Somebody sent me Bobby Bittman. That was Eugene Levy, kind of a washed up comedian host. Just such good stuff, man. Sorry. Letting Teel know that I sent him an invite. And I'll do that to you as well. But I think on Saturday, I won't send you text. I'll just say, hey, check your email. I'll just say, hey, you'll know. If you ask for it, you'll likely get an email. Yeah, what happened to comedy? Horrible writing. Everybody offended by every little thing. Virtue signaling. It goes beyond political correctness. Nobody can laugh at themselves anymore. Most laughter I get throughout the day is when I realize I do something stupid. Like I just go, what am I doing? I don't think people like a comedian like David Chappelle, who's just an absolute brilliant comedic mind. Did a lot of things that were controversial, but really weren't. Eddie Murphy, you can't have it anymore. The world got to this point to where everybody's a victim and nobody can have fun. And if you say one thing, do one thing, you're labeled, you either have some kind of phobia or you're an ist. And comedians now, they have to flow to the mob or whatever's going to get them jobs. So they will latch on to and stop doing the things that were funny. No creativity anymore. Hollywood's beyond broken. The entertainment world's beyond broken. That's why the most popular things, that's why sports continues to go nuts. I'm going to write about it this week in The Patriot in my Big Dog Barks column. Shameless plug. The convergence of all these sports. I mean, the NBA, which none of us get all, hey, the NBA just signed a $76 billion rights deal for the next 11 years. The NHL, which I love hockey, because no athletes that are playing professional sport love their sport more than hockey players. They just signed a record $18 million broadcast rights deal, I think, over the next 7 or 8 years between the United States and Canada. It's awesome. So you have that starting up, the indoor sports. Football's been going on for a while, high school, college, and pro. Major League Baseball finished up. Now they're in the playoffs. The World Series is about to happen. You have all these things converging. And for sports fans, I mean, you just got to flip on a TV and find a game or streaming. Now, I don't know how many of us are going to actively go looking for the NBA or the NHL. I like to watch hockey, but a lot of people don't. And people ask, why doesn't hockey catch on? Because you're more apt to be a fan of sports that you played or could play growing up. Not everybody has ice skates. Not everybody has ice ready to go. Not everybody has facilities that placate your desire to learn how to play hockey. That's why. That's why they're so big in the cities in which they're played, because there's lots of options. NBA on NBC was cool last night. I won't watch much of it, but the nostalgia was great. Yeah, they got the old theme back, don't they, Ryan? Is that right? No, Major League Baseball. I'm going to be interested to see what the ratings are now. You got a Canadian team, Toronto, against the Dodgers. Because of Ohtani, I think it'll rate pretty well. But, yeah, the ratings are, kind of flatlined. That's why one of the reasons ESPN is going to get out of baseball, which is a good thing for us as sports fans. Anything ESPN gets out of is good. NRB Thunder says, Major League Baseball has done the impossible. Almost all of America is pulling for a Canadian team. I know I'm pulling for the Blue Jays. Have I been able to get down and see the Bobcats hockey team? No. Time is too busy to be able to. I'd like to. It'd be fun. The old theme, Wayne says, the announcer passed, but they use his AI voice. Okay, sweet. That's good. That's awesome. They brought back Jordan and Ewing. Oh, that's awesome. Boy, that's when the NBA was flourishing on NBC. Yeah. Good stuff, man. Well, that's good. From that aspect, I like that change. And again, with the NBA, the major problem is twofold. One, the players have to care about the game as much as the fans, instead of just trying to figure out the games they're going to load manage, right? And just like all these professional leagues, let's stop planting your flag on one side of the political aisle. You're just cutting your audience in half immediately. I don't understand. The NFL is getting just as bad. I mean, just look at their choice for the Super Bowl halftime show. Wow. Anyway. Yeah, the John Tesh music intro. It's classic, man. I'm glad to see that that's coming back with the nostalgia. That's awesome. That's great stuff. Great stuff. Matt Roan joining us here, coming up in just a little bit. And we're always very honored and excited when this next gentleman joins us. He is the Hall of Famer on multiple fronts, the best writer maybe of all time in the Commonwealth. He's David Teel. David, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning, Rick.
How are you, brother?
Doing fine.
Man, everybody referencing your pod yesterday over at Tech Sideline. A lot of good stuff. All right, take us through. This is cool. Take us through your Mike Tomlin story. Everybody's saying I got to ask you about your Mike Tomlin story and how you kind of transfer that over to what Virginia Tech should be looking for.
Well, the Mike Tomlin story is I've known Mike for a long, long time. He's a Newport News guy, then went up to William & Mary, played for Jimmy Laycock. And in 2006, he's a first-year defensive coordinator with the Vikings. And word got out, one of the national guys reported that Mike was going to be interviewing for the Steelers head coaching position. So I texted him and he called me back. And I made the remark, hey, this is really good experience for you. Get your name out there, you're interviewing for a head coaching position. You can use the experience further down the road. And he stopped me because you don't think I'm getting this job. I said, no, I don't. And lo and behold, of course he did. But come to find out, the way Mike Tomlin swayed the Rooneys is he came in there with a plan, with a binder, a manifesto, if you will, of not how he would run an NFL franchise, but how he would run the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was catered to that job. He had prepared. He wanted the job. And that's why it tickles me with the Virginia Tech search and people saying, oh, they have to hire X. They have to hire James Franklin, or they have to hire Shane Beamer, or anyone. And it's no knock on any of those candidates or their credentials. But if I'm Virginia Tech and I am investing all this money in athletics, specifically in football, and football is as important as we say it is to the institution, then you are doing the process a disservice if you don't bring finalists to you in a face-to-face meeting and have them present their vision, not for running a college football program, for running Hokies football, and have them convince you that they're the right person. They want the job for the right reasons, not because they're on the rebound, not because, oh, by the way, they've had a disappointing season wherever. Right. And to me, that, and hey, maybe I'm old school. Maybe just do it on Zoom and offer it to whomever. that strikes me as a risk not worth taking, given the amount of money that's at stake here.
100%. I couldn't agree more. And boy, speaking of the Rooneys, they've done a pretty good job, haven't they, with the last three hires with Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, that Tomlin guy who's never had a losing record that you didn't think deserved the job.
Yeah. I'm not sure he thought he was getting the job.
Right.
And suffice to say, he had a laugh at my expense.
That's
we
great.
Both did after he got the job.
Well, I agree. That makes perfect sense. And I'm just going to say it. He's coming on, and I won't ever put him on the spot. But I planted my flag on Monday. I believe they should just go, hey, JMU guys. What would it take? I think Coach Chesney's outstanding. I know Matt Roan is outstanding. It seems like maybe you're overthinking this a little too much over there. I don't know.
Well, Rick, I was in Harrisonburg Saturday for the Old Dominion game. And suffice to say, the Dukes were impressive.
Oh.
But if you listen to Whit Babcock on his pod with Bill Roth, talking about the search and talking about how he would advise the committee to proceed. And he talked about analytics and evaluating a coach. What's your record in one-score games? How do you adjust after halftime? Hard stop. Bob Chesney this season at JMU. The Dukes have won 5 consecutive games. In those 5 games, they have outscored the opposition 101-10 in the second half. In the second half Saturday, now, Old Dominion had consecutive touchdown drives of 98, 75, and 75 yards in the first.
Right.
Obviously, JMU's streak of not having allowed an opponent 300 yards was going to fall by the wayside. Not so much. Old Dominion had 10 yards after halftime.
It was incredible.
10. 275 in the first, 10 in the second. JMU wins the second half 35-0. It was a tour de force. And now that offense seems to be percolating, because it was not earlier in the season. And that may be as simple as Alonzo Barnett, the quarterback, still shaking the cobwebs off that ACL that he tore in late November. Well, he was at full speed on Saturday.
Yes, he was.
More than 440 yards of total offense and 6 touchdowns accounted for. They're a problem. And you can talk to Matt Roan, and I have previously about this and their ambitions in Harrisonburg. First Friday night in December, don't be surprised if the Dukes are hosting the Sun Belt Championship game.
Yeah, 100%. David Teel joining us on the program. And I kept watching, James. The game kept getting worse and worse for ODU, but for those reasons, I was just marveling at how well coached they were in the second half and how they just kept on. They just kept on. And they brought in waves of players because they knew the game. And I'm just thinking, what are people not seeing here?
Well, and Bob Chesney doesn't need me out there banging the drum about his resume, but I mean, the progression is striking because he's done it sequentially: Division III to Division II to FCS to FBS.
Right.
I mean, the dude's 44 years old. He's been a head coach for 13 seasons. And he's had one losing year. That was 5-6 out of the chute at Holy Cross. And I believe the next year he won 10 or 11 games and never looked back. His credentials are absolutely impeccable. Now, whether he's a fit, again, goes back to the Tomlin story.
Right.
And Bob Chesney may have options other than Virginia Tech. He very well could be at the Power 4 level. I mean, we already have 7 Power 4 jobs open. It's not even Halloween. There were only 5 Power 4 jobs that opened the entirety of last year's offseason.
Right.
So this cycle is going to be seismic. So it's not a given that Virginia Tech could land Bob Chesney. Because of all the other openings. But certainly if he's not on the radar, then it's malpractice.
And Filmation is now regular on the show, and he said that that's kind of what you want, what you just went down. What has he done at other places? Give me examples of him as a head coach, and how has he done at these stops? How has he handled each? And you just went through his resume. Few guys are going to have the levels of success and understanding the challenges at each that Chesney has, to be honest with you.
Well, and go back and look, Rick, at the state of the programs that he inherited. Now, in Harrisonburg, he took over a ready-made squad.
He did.
A ready-made program and culture. Let me correct myself. Because Curt Cignetti took a bunch of those dudes to Indiana with him
he did.
And went to the college football playoff.
That's exactly right.
They've made him a very rich man. But at Salve Regina and Assumption and Holy Cross, Bob Chesney took over downtrodden programs and instantly elevated them to postseason play. And to me, that's quite impressive. And also what he did in Harrisonburg, sustaining the success that the others before him, others plural, because it wasn't just Curt Cignetti. It was Mike Houston before then and Mickey Matthews. So it's quite the resume that he has built.
It's so impressive, and I'm with you. I just the Dukes are fun to watch. They're just so much fun to watch. So your weekend travel is interesting, isn't it? You've got the Commonwealth double dip, but unfortunately they're both not the Commonwealth, right? You're going to be in Blacksburg, and then you're heading down to Chapel Hill, I understand.
I am on very little sleep, unfortunately. The ACC did not consult me about Saturday's kickoff times after a night game at Lane Stadium, where I'll probably get to my hotel in Roanoke pushing 2 or 3 in the morning. And then we've got a noon kick at Kenan Stadium with the Cavaliers. But it'll be worth the sleep deprivation because the Cavaliers are obviously rolling, ranked 16th in the country. And plus, who doesn't like a good train wreck? And that would be the home team.
Yes, that's true. The epitome of a college football train wreck right now. Before we get into UVA, let's go to Friday. I mean, a lot of people have chimed in here on the show. They feel like this could be Tech's best last chance.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Because here you have Cal coming in on a short week, and well, not necessarily because they played last Friday night against Carolina, but
Right.
should have lost to Carolina. If the young man doesn't fumble at the goal line, the Tar Heels probably win that game. But Cal coming east again, and the Hokies off a bye week, getting some bodies healthy. This is, to me, their best chance at a win coming down the stretch. And Rick, they're favored.
Yeah. How about that? It's going up too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Saturday, because sometimes teams have to battle through. Virginia, sometimes, and you and I have talked this in the past, sometimes winning games like they did against an upstart Washington State team that may have surprised them a little bit, albeit with the safety. However it works, they won. Sometimes that can help propel you in a different way. They've been winning games very impressively, and all of a sudden they had to win one like that at home. So I think that could serve them well going forward. What do you think, and what did you see against the Cougs?
Well, that's 3 consecutive games, one-score games that the Cavaliers have survived: Florida State, Louisville, and now Wazoo. The last 2 have had a common theme: Virginia's inability to run the football as well as it had earlier, because I think the Cavaliers went 4 consecutive games where they rushed for more than 200 yards. Now, Louisville's defense is very good. Witness their victory at Miami the other night when the Hurricanes could not run the football. But I think the encouraging news for UVA fans came yesterday afternoon when Tony Elliott said that Brady Wilson, who was an all-conference caliber center, transferred from Alabama Birmingham, who's missed several games with a calf injury, that he's good to go Saturday against North Carolina. So I think that will perk up Virginia's run game. And if that indeed happens, I think the Cavaliers are in good shape against the Tar Heels. What I'm very interested to see is, given the mess that is North Carolina, how many people are in the stands for a noon kick at Kenan? If all that shine has worn off and the base is already checked out.
That's a great point. They may have an advantage there they're not counting on necessarily, right? Because of the crowd. You're right. Lack of crowd support for the home team. Yeah.
And heck, 2 years ago, Virginia went into Kenan and beat a top 10 Carolina team.
Right. Well, I think it's a marvel. In this show me year, Tony Elliott, and the way he's responded and the way they evaluated in the portal, it's very impressive what they've done.
It is, Rick, and it's more than just evaluation. Because if we went by transfer class ratings, Florida State would still be kicking butt.
Absolutely.
But they're not. What Tony Elliott and his staff also have done is they have taken this disparate roster that's almost totally flipped, and they have meshed it into a cohesive team. And that's difficult, and often it's a coin flip. Sometimes you get lucky, other times you don't, because you have very little time to evaluate these people, not just from a talent perspective, but from a disposition perspective, a character perspective. And somehow they have made it work. They have molded all these parts and gotten them to buy in together as a team. They believe in one another. They believe in the staff. And now that they have it rolling, I think their confidence is considerable.
I've gotten 4 different messages for you on the text line, so I'm just going to ask you here. By the way, people loved what you said about how the Tech job, hopefully the candidate will approach that. But ask David, I know Tech's on shutdown, basically what they're saying, but what is his best opinion? How do you think Tech will go about this? Will that be the kind of thing they're looking for, like a Mike Tomlin, or do you think they're just dead set on a bigger name? Thank you for the question.
I think, man, Rick, you have business people on this committee, on the search committee. You have board of visitors, members. on the committee, they've hired people before. They have a stake in this game. You know, some of these folks on the committee are donors to Virginia Tech. They are invested. They want return on investment.
That's right. That's right.
And I can't imagine that they would go into this with preconceived notions of we have to hire X or the coach has to have Y experience. To me, it would just be the height of foolishness. They owe it to themselves to do due diligence. And guess what? They have the time.
They do. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they turfed Brent Pry in mid-September. There's no excuse to not make this as thorough a search as they feel is necessary. There's no reason that now, if you think, and if you're convinced and this coach wants to come, if James Franklin or Pat Fitzgerald or Dave Clawson, and you're convinced they're the ones and you want to get it done now, fine. Go ahead. My life is easier. Your life is easier.
That's right.
You can get about recruiting and all those things. But if you have interest in other people and you have found out through back channels that they are interested in you, man, it would be, again, to use the same word, malpractice not to do your due diligence.
100%. 100%. Don't, and that's what everybody's kind of panicking about all these jobs of, and that was going to happen regardless. It's probably going to be a weekly thing. So just stay the course, right? Stay the course. Do what you need to do. Yeah. Yeah. Well, listen, have fun. I know you're going to be kind of weary-eyed as you drive down to Chapel Hill. You're going to go right after the Tech game? You're going to leave early Saturday morning?
No, I'll leave early Saturday morning. I'll get a doctor to hook up a caffeine IV, and off I'll go.
All right, my friend. Great stuff as always. Appreciate you, David. I can't wait to get your response by whatever happens next week, not only with the games, but whatever we hear about the Tech situation. But have safe travels, man.
Give the AD at my alma mater my best.
I will. Well, he'll be on here in just a second. I sure will. All
right, man.
All right, brother. Take care. Great stuff. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, there you go, David Teel. So he just told Mike Tomlin this will be a great experience. That's a great story. A great experience for you. You don't think I'm getting the job? Well, no, I don't. Yeah, he's still got that job. Man, that guy. Jeez Louise. And I have a lot of friends who are Steelers fans, and I know they haven't been a Super Bowl contender, but they've never had a losing record. I'm like, what do you want? What do you want? Go see Travis Williams Professional Door Incorporated. 38 years in business up in Dublin, right across from New River Community College. They do garage doors better than anybody. So go see them. Travis is a great sponsor of our text line, which blows up each and every show, even when I'm not doing the show. National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner, BDST. Been with them personally for 35 years. Yeah. Thank you, Lara. Lara Ramsey, the new president. Ryan Pry, the attorney, 701 West Main Street in Radford. He's got our BDST fan question of the week. And more of you now are starting to cool on the idea of Shane Beamer coming to Blacksburg. Little River Heating and Air. Go see Charles Lee, another terrific guy. He and Travis know each other, by the way. 540-553-2971. Took care of my units. I was on a trip last year, out of town with Radford basketball for 4 days. Neighbor said, I think your house got struck by lightning. What? My units got struck by lightning. I had no heat. Came back, called those guys. They came, fixed it within a day and a half. Unbelievable. Family Fencing, sponsor of our studios here in Rhino. They're going to be working through the winter, by the way. Call them up, 540-200-8294. And our chat room, which blows up all the time. Thanks to Mark Hundley, McClellan Chiropractic. Travis Williams went to go see Mark because we've been talking about it, and he had his assessment, and now he's going to go get taken care of next week. That's great. We got sponsor cross-contamination here on the program. It's great stuff. Go bowl at the NRV Super Bowl. 25 years, 382-5525. They're going to have Halloween boogie bowling. My birthday, by the way. That's why they're really doing it. It's $40, $5 a pop. You can have an 8-man team. So, and go give James Lawson a call at Lawson Mobile Home Supply since 1997, 540-381-8011. Thanks to Kion Brown, Damien Sordelett, and David Teel. And now we've been talking a lot about him, and joining us right now, he is the director of athletics down in Harrisonburg. You deserve that big smile, my friend. Welcome, Matt. Welcome back. Matt Roan joins us. Good to see you, brother.
Well, it's been a good weekend. Always good to come off of a big resounding victory the way that we had on Saturday. But when I hear you say talking a lot about him, it gives me a little bit of concern, but I'm sure we'll jump into it at some point.
Only with things you're comfortable with.
That's right.
But yeah, first of all, welcome back. It's great to see you as always.
Always good to be with you.
I'm watching your game because I had that one earmarked, right? I got finished with my broadcast earlier in the day, and I was like, all right, I'm settling down. There's a lot of good games on. ODU, we saw how good they are. JMU, we know how good. And, that thing was a pinball machine. Oh, by the way, David Teel gives you his best, said hello.
Tell him I said I texted. He was at our place on Saturday, and I was running around like crazy, and I don't get to watch a lot of football until the third or fourth quarter, right? Because you're doing all these different obligations. So I didn't get to make it up to the press box, but I hit him up on his drive back to Norfolk and just thanked him for being there. So it's always good to have a pro like that in your stadium.
Yeah, that's got to be tough for you because you have to do your thing, and I know you're wanting to break down every series.
It's killing me. But no, it was back and forth. Is this thing going to be, last possession wins? But I'll give credit. I don't want to give too much credit, right? I don't want to let the secret out of how good our coaching staff is and how good our players are. But, we came out in the second half and had made some adjustments and, just what he said, just calming. It's obviously well out there right now, right? I think there's some sound bites that he's talking about, relax, we're going to win this game. And then second half, we rolled.
So impressed. And David just talked about the adjustments over the last any coach who can do that and have that self-awareness, that's the first thing you look for. And what you guys did the second half, even though you'd gotten the game out of hand, I just kept watching because I'm saying this is what football needs to look like now with what's going on and what your coaching staff and those players, how they changed that game around as soon as the second half got going. Crazy.
Yeah, it was one of those things that, offensively we'd won the games, right? If you looked at the stat sheets the last few weeks, the stats tell a different story than really kind of what you almost see with your eyes and what obviously the final score says. But our offense was able to wake up in a big way on Saturday. Really, every possessions, with the exception of a few, we marched down and scored. And this was probably the first time that I don't want to say even adversity had hit our defense, because at the end of the day, we were up at halftime, and we know that ODU is a good football team, right? They're going to score. They showed it. In Blacksburg earlier this year, right? Just how explosive. They showed it at Indiana, right? How good of a football team that they are. But, we were sitting on that 275, and I think a lot of people are saying, hey, JMU's finally going to give up 300 yards. And to only give up 10 in the second half and keep that streak going was pretty special. And so it was great to see offense, defense, special teams. We pinned them down on the 1 yard line on a punt. With the exception of that opening play, right? It was pretty flawless football, and now we just get to celebrate it. Not so much anymore, right? Now it's a new week. We have that coveted Tuesday night prime time slot next Tuesday, and down in San Marcos, Texas, at Texas State. And so I appreciate you having me on a week earlier than normal, because I might be a little cloudy this time next week.
Matt Roan joins us, the director of athletics at James Madison. Yeah, it's not an easy stretch, right? A couple of road conference games. The toughest thing to do, you've been at all these stops, is to win conference road games. I don't care the sport, especially in football. And that's not going to be an easy trek for these guys, right? Go to Texas, then you come back, you got to go to Huntington. So that's going to be a challenge in itself, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it absolutely will. And, our next five are Texas State on a Tuesday night. You get that following Saturday off, obviously, but then you circle back on, I think, November the 8th at Huntington, who's playing really good football, right? They beat Louisiana a few weeks ago. That's a common opponent in overtime on the road. They beat ODU. Trying to think of what they even did this past week, and they beat somebody, I think. So they're rolling as well. Yeah. And then we bring App in here. Big rivalry, always a tough team to play.
It's a great game.
We get Washington State's going to come back to Virginia for the second time in about a month to play us here at our place on the, I guess that's the 22nd, and then we'll head down to Myrtle Beach for that regular season finale. So it's hard to win. I say it all the time, and with the culture that exists here, with the results that have came over the last really 2 decades, sometimes you can complain when you win, right? And people say, oh, we only won by 7 or we only won by 14. It didn't look pretty. At the end of the day, I always say that the teams that you're playing against, especially in our league, right, that they practice, they coach, they commit resources, they make investments. And so anytime that you're able to win, it's hard. And anytime that you win on the road, it's really hard. So we'll have our hands full next Tuesday, but I'm hopeful that we can get out of the month of October 7-1 with every single goal ahead of us, that we're on the path to Sunbelt East division title, have a chance to play for that Sunbelt Conference Championship. And if you win enough of them, you're relevant in that CFP discussion as well.
And you go into this trek and like you've created the bullseye for yourself. Like everybody sees the purple and gold and they're like, okay, this is the one we can really get our season back on track, or what a statement win it would be. And that's something I know that your program absorbs, and they want that because you've earned that, but it also creates a little different mindset from your opponent.
Yeah. I think we're accustomed to playing with high expectations, right? I go back, I guess the last time that you and I were together, we go on the road to a really tough Louisville in week 2. And, we didn't know exactly who we were at that point. I don't know that Louisville knew who they were at that point, but now you're seeing, 7 games later, it was a really good football team that we played that night. And we kept it to 14 and really should have been closer to that, in my opinion. We should have won the football game because I think we're a really good football team. So you embrace those expectations. I think the key is, and I have full faith and confidence that our coaches will do this, it's you just got to block out that noise as well, right? You're only on the path and the games are only as big as you make them. And so you got to block out all that narrative of, conference championships and CFP relevance and, the possibility of being that one of those teams that's representing in that, to make sure that you take care of what needs to be taken care of, to keep that hype train rolling.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, it's just fun to watch. And I think what Coach Chesney has done, David, we just went over all of his credentials, and you knew this because you guys, we talked about this, Matt, when you got down to JMU, you guys came in at the exact same time.
We did.
It was interesting. You're losing a superstar in Jeff Bourne. You're losing a superstar in Kurt Signetti. You're both getting down there. Because of that success, you're just ready to take it to another level, and you're doing that. Can you talk about how that relationship has developed between you and Coach Chesney since you both got to Harrisonburg?
Well, I got to say, everybody's got to stop talking so positively about him, right? We got to keep that secret in house here. But no, he is a winner, right? I can recall, Mr. Bourne, my predecessor, had announced his retirement. Kurt Signetti announces he's going to Indiana. The search firm that actually placed me here at JMU, or helped place me here at JMU, was the search firm that helped place Chesney here. And I remember talking to Drew Turner. It's funny. In December of 2023, and I'm saying, hey, I know you're helping out with JMU. Y'all should look at that guy at Holy Cross. I've always been impressed because I was at the FCS level at that time. He had been at the FCS level, and Drew and I were talking, and obviously, JMU thought the same thing, right? And that led to his hire here. And I think we're both the product of, again, tremendous culture. I think JMU is largely successful because of people, but certainly I think it's the infrastructure, it's the resources, it's the support that we get day in, day out. It's an overused word, but it's alignment, from our board to our president, to our president's cabinet, to our coaches, to our staff, to our fans. Like, everybody is pulling the rope in the same direction, and I think that leads to superior results. But I'm very, very proud of the fact that I think the job that we have now, right, 12, almost 24 months after his hire, we've been able to commit resources to him, right? We've been able to commit resources to our support staff, to our assistant coaches. We have a lot more bodies in the building. The bodies that are in the building I think are better taken care of. We've invested in our student athletes, right? Everything that we've tried to do is additive. We didn't want to take away anything in this rev share or enhanced scholarship era from the things that we were already doing very well. And so I think together, certainly he's a big piece of that. But we made our football program better. And I think that we have still so much that we can still accomplish together.
Matt Roan joining us on the program. We're getting a ton of reaction all over the place here for Matt. Elevation wanted to tell you hello, by the way, the great coach who's on the show regularly now. And he has a theory. He wanted me to ask you about this as you've interviewed folks and you've vetted, obviously Coach Chesney. But for instance, he gives an example of James Franklin. If James Franklin becomes a viable candidate at Tech, he would want the interview that he did at Vanderbilt when he got that job, as opposed to the one he gave at Penn State. He wanted to kind of see that type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So when you go and you're talking to coach, I mean, what kind of things do you look for and what kind of, mindset? I know what he's saying because he was hungry. How you can go to Vanderbilt and do anything, right? Vanderbilt's never done it, and that's the interview he would like to see.
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually, and probably never one that I've thought about in comparing and contrasting. And I think anytime you interview, you're gauging fit, right? You're gauging energy. You're trying to see what their vision is. I go back to that word alignment. You have to have somebody that's going to be a relentless recruiter. Once they get people on campus, are they going to develop student athletes incredibly well? Are they going to prioritize the right things, right? Are they going to be, in my case, I'm interested in, are they going to be transformational instead of transactional? Are they going to be able to put a really good staff around them? And so you're going to ask those questions, right? They better be coming to the interview already knowing who their coordinators are going to be. You got to figure those things out. They're also interviewing you, right? They're asking you, what is my salary pool? What do I have in terms of rev share? There's a lot of questions that you're going to ask. I think, the question that he was being asked at Vanderbilt was, you've never done this before. Right. The question that he was asked at Penn State is, you've done this before. What mistakes did you make? What are you going to do again? How are you going to handle the pressures of 110,000 people in a stadium versus
That's right.
40,000 people in a stadium? Mm-hmm. There's, you're a private school in Tennessee versus the Pennsylvania State University. The jobs are very, very different. And so I think your questions are a little bit different. But, I think what I look for is head coaching experience. Again, my predecessor shared this philosophy here. It's something that I've subscribed to for a long time and tried to do it when I could. Couldn't always do it at the places that I have been. I think we could probably do it more here. But every coaching search has risk. You mitigate that risk by hiring somebody who's done it before. They understand how to schedule their time. They understand how to delegate. They understand how to be the CEO that everybody talks about of a football program or any other program for that matter. And so I think there's certain traits, characteristics that you look for. There's certain individuals that hit those. And I think that's where you start.
Matt Roan joins us on the program, Director of Athletics at James Madison. The Dukes are rolling into their bye week at 6-1. How do you block out the noise that's going around? You just talked about it. You're trying to keep mum's the word on Coach Chesney, but he's so impressive. So how do you go about handling that? So much noise is going around right now, James Madison.
You don't pay attention to social media. You don't read message boards, and you don't join Big Dog Sports Talk, right? Those are the three no-nos. But no, you're inevitably going to hear those things, right? You cannot insulate yourself from the world. I think it takes an incredible amount. And I actually, for me in my role, the noise is helpful, right? The noise gives me a pulse.
That's a great point.
On, what is happening, right? What are people saying? I'll be the first person to say I tend to read a message board sometimes. Sometimes it is off the wall and it is not relevant at all. And sometimes it tells us as a department things that we can do better, right? Things that our fans aren't satisfied with, things that we can tweak in terms of game day experience, how we communicate, what they would like to see us do from time to time. Like, I don't have all the good ideas. Our staff doesn't have all the good ideas. sometimes a person, a keyboard warrior, could have a pretty good idea. But you do look at social to see, again, an extension of that. You do pay attention to what people are writing and what people are saying. I think the coaches do a really good job, especially our coaches here, of blocking out that noise. They're not paying attention to what is out there because they understand that you're only as good as the next one. We're 6-1, we're riding high, a lot of momentum. We go on the road and we don't handle business next week in Texas State, and there's a very different culture. And so
that's right.
He preaches that over and over to our student athletes. I know, him and I are huddling up together today at 1:00. We usually meet about 6 or 7 days out, just to kind of get a grip on what just happened this past weekend. What do we look forward to the next one? I appreciate him asking my opinion. Again, I always say I recommend, I never require. He calls the plays. He's forgotten more football than I know, and I think I know a lot of football, but I try to give him just my 30,000 feet view, things that I'm hearing, things that I'm seeing. I try to filter a lot of that to him.
Sure.
Just to give him information that he can make the best decisions with. But you're never going to be able to insulate yourself, again, completely from the world. You just do the best job that you possibly can. And like I said, for me in my role, sometimes a little noise is good.
Yeah, I was going to say, you'd rather have that going on than either no noise or the other kind of noise, right? And it's interesting. What you're saying basically is you listen to your customer. You value what your customer is telling you, whether it be a fan, season ticket holder, a big booster, whoever it might be. You're paying attention to what they say. That's a great concept that not a lot of schools and not enough schools are factoring into their decisions.
I had my head down, so I didn't see that view that you gave there. But at the end of the day, Rick, I view my role, and again, I say a lot of, I learned this from this person, or I learned this from that person. The reality is that people have made impressions upon me my entire life. And to your point, something that I learned from someone, and from afar, he's a mentor, and he doesn't probably even know that he made this comment, but just how it stuck with me is that the role that I have, right, the seat that I sit in every single day, I am the conduit to people's passion, is the way he said it. And what he meant by that is, there are people that care about our success. There are people that care about this institution, this athletics department, this football program. That information is going to come to me, and it's what can I do with that information? Sometimes it's filtering out the bad, but sometimes it's embracing the good. This program is going to be here long after any of us are here. And so you want to make sure that, again, it's everybody's program, that you're representing them that way.
And by the way, if people have been paying attention, it's not just the spectacular football program. If I'm not mistaken, Matt, I think both basketball teams are preseason favorites in the Sun Belt. Is that right? Women and men. Huh?
They are. We had an all-department meeting on Monday, all coaches, all staff. And I tried to put our basketball coaches on the spot, right? And so we love preseason predictions around here. We hate preseason predictions around here is the reality. But I said, now all you got to go do is just win all the games and prove everybody right. But no, we have a phenomenal, again, I always say 1 through 18, right? We have 18 programs that we sponsor here. We want to be a broad-based, successful athletics department, giving all 18 of those programs the resources that the level of investment matches those championship expectations we have on the other side, that output. Specifically with basketball, it's, again, a lot of promise, a lot of potential. In one of those secret scrimmages, we may have gone down Route 29 on Saturday and played there on the men's side. And we may have came out of that, I think, with more points than the other team that we competed against.
But that's just a secret, I hear. So you can't really.
It's just one of those secret scrimmages. I'm reading it on Twitter just like everybody else. But, we'll have an exhibition, I think, at Richmond this upcoming weekend. Expecting a pretty good crowd down there, and our people are excited about that. And, less than 2 weeks away from open up right here at home. So basketball season it's crossover time, right? Your life's about to get a lot busier.
Yeah.
That fall winter time is always, it's a busy one, but it's a fun one. And again, we embrace those expectations. The fun is in the winning, though.
Yeah, yes, it is. There's nothing better. And you're right. It doesn't matter how you get it. It doesn't matter what it looks like. At the end of the day, did we win? Okay, good. Let's move on to the next one. But we won.
To the next one, right? Yeah. You celebrate for a minute, and then you got to worry about your happiness a few days from now.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Do you have by the way, when you're at these games and you're doing you have to do all the AD stuff and you get to the game, do you have a routine that you go through? I always like that. Do you have something that you took with you from playing for Coach Hicks that maybe either you did on game day there that you take into game days as an athletic director?
No, you know what? I do. I can still remember like it was yesterday. School would end. We'd walk from the field house up to the cafeteria and eat a greasy piece of pizza and a bag of chips for pregame meal. We may or may not have been sick a couple times when we were playing. We come back down. You kind of do the walkthroughs. You lay on those wrestling mats until it's time to get dressed, and just really, really special memories that we have there. But no, my days are pretty much scripted out. Our fan experience, fan engagement teams do a phenomenal job of telling me everywhere I need to be and when I need to be there. And if I'm not there on time, there's usually somebody coming to find me to make sure that I'm where I need to be. But no, they're a lot of fun, and it's the discipline of trying to stick to that's what I learned at Pulaski County.
Wow, you got pizza, man. We always had to eat. We had either cold pancakes or we had to eat 2 bananas. Yeah, for pregame.
I don't know what's better for you.
I don't either.
Bananas and cold pancakes or greasy pizza. I was always so nervous. I never really ate, and so I don't know if again sports science would tell you to eat breakfast on a Friday morning and not eat again till after a high school football game. But it is what it is, and we survived.
One more question for you in chat, and you're getting a lot of questions, which is great. Brandon asks, what measures does a school size of JMU take into consideration when trying to reach and maintain the level of success that JMU is currently enjoying? It's a good question. Thanks, Brandon.
So I'm trying to read it there. What measures do schools the size of JMU take into consideration?
Yeah, you see that?
Yeah. Yep. What measure? I think it's probably twofold, right? It's standards, and then it's that infrastructure piece. I think you want higher proven winners. I'm a firm believer, and I learned this at my first stop, right? So we didn't have, the phrase, and I don't know that I can say it on here, right? We didn't have a pot to end.
Yes.
When I was at Nichols. And so what I learned about that was that people win, right? You can give great coaches no resources and they'll be okay. You can give bad coaches unlimited resources and they're not going to have success.
That's a great point.
And so what I have tried to embrace is, proven winners, people where you're trying to dissect and you're trying to examine, who can be successful at our place, who can live up to the standard of the people who came before them, and not just maintain, but always aspire for better, right? Who can take our program to the next level. And when you're as successful as we have been, that's hard. Again, I go back to every search we do is risky. So you don't want to have a lot of them because eventually you might miss on one.
Yeah, sure.
But when you miss, right, be able to correct, be able to fail fast, and try to get that thing back on track. I'm a big believer that people win first. But the level of investment, the level of support, right? The infrastructure that exists. How are we assisting coaches, support student athletes, all those sorts of things that matters as well. And so we're constantly monitoring. You're trying to not just constantly monitor where you are today, but where you think you might be 5, 6, 7 years from now. I tell you, one of the things that we did at EKU that I think, helped us tremendously was when I got there in 2020. You saw, we didn't know exactly what the change was going to be. We didn't know what the House settlement was at that point.
Yeah.
But we knew something was changing. And so we put together a 5-year financial forecast that allowed us to position ourselves among the best FCS programs in America. And I think they're living that still today, even after I've left, right? They've stuck to that plan. Here, we're doing the same thing, right? For the past 18 months. We're saying eventually there could be a line of demarcation drawn. How have we positioned ourselves to when that line appears, we've given ourselves a fighting chance to be above it, or if we're slightly below it, right, that we could invest a little bit more to get above it, to make sure that we're competing and putting our brand at the highest level possible. So I think his name, Brandon, I don't know if that answers your question at all. I hope it
No,
does.
it was great. It was great.
But it's people. Again, something else I learned from a friend, right? It's you're constantly managing people, and you're giving them the tools, and you're following the processes that you need to be successful.
100%. And that shows in the results, and you're getting them, my friend, as you have everywhere that you've gone. And man, really appreciate you jumping on and for letting me know next week. I guess, once I looked at your schedule, I realized travel was going to be tough for you. So I appreciate you coming on early, man.
Yeah, I'll be on that bird from San Antonio back to Shenandoah. I hope we're celebrating on that flight. It's a lot more fun after a win. Otherwise, again, I was telling somebody this the other day. When we lost, Coach Hicks didn't let us talk on the way home.
No.
You knew better. You knew better than to say anything on that bus ride home. And so when I get on the plane after a loss and I hear people talking, I squirm, right?
I know, yeah.
My president gets on and he's smiling and he might say something and I'm going, shh, don't say anything. Like we can't talk on this flight home. We've got 2.5 hours ahead of us where we've got to be quiet. But it's a lot of fun.
You're like, boss, look, I appreciate you, but hey, hush. Just hush.
But no, let's hope this one's a big celebration and we keep this thing going.
All right, brother. Listen, congratulations again, man. And always my best to you and your fam. And it's just great to follow the trajectory. Who knows how things are going to look here in a few weeks when you have you back, man. It could be a lot of good stuff happening.
Well, I appreciate you. And again, as I say it all the time, it's always good to be on here with you. I appreciate everything that you do. And tell everybody back home I said hello.
We do, man. We do. And we're going to get a ton of reaction. I'll let you know. People are already reacting. So I appreciate you taking the time, man. Great stuff. And have a safe trip next week. And tell Coach we said hey.
I appreciate you. Thank you, Rick.
All right, brother. Take care. There you go.
See you, man.
Matt Roan, Director of Athletics, James Madison. How good was that? Thanks for all the comments. I'm still getting them. I mean, look down here on the Professional Door text line. Great interview. Matt Roan needs to be, in Blacksburg. That's what everybody's saying. And again, I'm never going to put him in that situation. I'm not going to ask him the question. Sorry. You know that I explained it yesterday with Mike Burnham and what he might know about the search and the committee. I'm not going to do that to people. They come on this show. I'm so grateful. I have too much respect for Matt. I know how great he is. Everybody knows. You can see it. You just listen to the interview. You can just – it speaks for itself, doesn't it? Yeah. How good is that? How good was that? In that program – like I said, and I was telling the truth, I was watching the game, and they had the game under control. Like, the game's not even in doubt anymore. But I kept watching because I realized about the adjustments, and I'm just watching football the way football needs to be approached. And I'm just appreciative of watching them thinking, this is what it's all about. You watch Power 4 games, you don't get that a lot. So I appreciate the interest in the comments, and I know exactly where you're coming from, everybody. Because I agree with you. I said it on Monday, and I'm not going to say this when he's here, but he knows. He watches the show. Virginia Tech needs to get both in Blacksburg. Will they do that? Likely not. But anyway, thanks to all of our sponsors, by the way. We want to thank Family Fencing. We want to thank the National Bank, Professional Door Incorporated, McClellan Chiropractic, the attorney Ryan Pry for our BDST fan question of the week, Little River Heating and Air, Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment, Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, Harvey's GM in Radford, and the NRV Super Bowl. Sponsors, we got plenty of room for you. We do a lot. Don't forget, Saturday, 6 o'clock, we're going live. Please be there if you can. We'll have a great time. There's no pressure. We're just going to have fun. We might get talking about a lot of things that don't happen during the regular show. Tomorrow, we got Dwight Vick, I know, Andy Bitter, might be some other stuff tomorrow on the Thursday edition. But I hope we made your hump day a little better. Thanks to all of our guests today, Kion Brown, Damien Sordelett, David Teel, and, of course, Matt Roan. Just great stuff. Yeah, great stuff. Everybody take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. And have a great rest of your Wednesday, everybody. Hope you slide over the hump together. And we will see you tomorrow on the Thursday edition. And, don't forget, please always subscribe, like, and share our content on the channel. All right, everybody. Take